What's going on? Hey, hi, it's me. I'm John. Now, I don't know if you noticed anything different about me today. I'm wearing a hat because I cut my hair. Yeah, hair short. Uh, I might clean it up a little bit more, but yep, I have short hair. The long hair's gone. Um, thank God. It is super hot, and I couldn't hang. I couldn't hang any longer with the long hair. It needed to happen like weeks ago, honestly, but one thing at a time. When you're ready, I guess. Um, so what's going on, everybody? What's that up at the top there? WildDinosaur.com. That is the best way to support this channel. There's a merch store there where you can buy some cool designs. I have these tote bags here. I like to show these off. They're polyester tote bags. Really nice handles. You get an option in colors with the handles as well. There's yellow, red, and black, which accommodate pretty much all the designs I have there. So yeah, go check out wilddinosaur.com. I would really like to see, pictures of people out and about wearing some Wild Dinosaur gear. I actually have an old. I'm wearing an old one. This one's not on my store. This is laundry day basically, and I'm wearing one of my original test prints. This is from my old store. Just a weird Photoshop I made. Wow. Okay, today I will admit, off the top, really slow day. Really slow news day. There's stuff I'm working on. Jason had recommended the other day doing something around Cassian Andor, and I think I will. I will. I'll obviously talk about it week by week as they come out, but I'll probably do do some sort of Rogue One rewatch before we get into Andor, maybe this weekend, and do like a Rogue One talk. I think a lot of people have adjusted to this post-sequel trilogy era and view Rogue One pretty positively. So let's revisit that next week sometime. The rest of this week is actually pretty busy. Tomorrow, there is a new King Gizzard single coming out. And they're also announcing the release and pre-order of 3 new records in standard King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard fashion. They are dropping 3 records at once that I don't think really anybody knew was happening. And when did they put out their last record? That wasn't that long ago. Sorry, I'm just looking at it. Yeah, Omnium Gatherum. When was this released? April. This came out in April. July, August, September, 5 months later, and they're giving us 3 full records. I don't know what they are. They might be live records or remixes and stuff like that. They don't really do remix records very much, but you never know. They're very capable. Oh boy. Excuse me. Like I said, it's been a slow day. They are very capable of putting out tons of new material. So my guess is maybe one of them is a live record. I don't really know anything about it. I'm waiting for tomorrow to hear what is up, because they posted a picture on their social media a couple days ago, and it was them all holding up new records, and the album covers were blurred out and said, pre-order for 3 new records coming soon. So, jeez. So yeah, tomorrow we'll be doing some King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard conversation. What else is there? Today is Tuesday. I still think She-Hulk is on Tuesday nights, but it's Wednesday nights. Well, it's midnight technically, but Wednesday night at midnight. So no She-Hulk tomorrow, but we'll probably talk about that on Thursday. And then of course on Friday and Saturday is D23, Disney's big convention they're doing, and so we'll probably talk about what's going on. I'm gonna do a live show on Saturday. You know what? I need to look up the D23 schedule. So I can figure out when I should go live, because I'll do the same thing that I usually do, 5 or 6 p.m. But if they are doing all of their big stuff early in the morning, maybe I'll do a different Saturday. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So 10 a.m. to noon. Marvel Studios, Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century Studios from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I might have to go live at like noon. I will keep you guys posted on for the Saturday show. And don't feel bad if you can't make it, because you got stuff going on. But it's gonna be a big day. There's gonna be trailers and stuff to talk about, I'm sure. Probably casting. There's a ton of stuff we could theorize. Excuse me. Whoa. That was a yawn, but it started as it was gonna be a sneeze. That was a weird one. So Friday, let's see. Friday looks like it's gonna be kind of Disney Legends Awards ceremony, and then Studio Showcase 1, Magic of Disney. Okay, so there'll be a Disney Animation and Pixar on Friday, and that ends at 5:30. So that's perfect. We'll go on at 6 like normal on Friday. But yes, Saturday I might do like 1 p.m. And then there's a Sunday event as well. That doesn't look like there's gonna be too much going on there. Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products, and then Disney Princesses, the concert live at D23. Okay, yeah. I'll probably skip Sunday, but we'll do Saturday. Cause there's more Marvel stuff. There's gonna be Star Wars stuff. And these properties have other places. Like we just saw Comic-Con. Was it last month? And we got like Phase 5 and 6 announced for Marvel. Trailer for Black Panther. We might get a second Black Panther trailer. Maybe even some footage from what's after. Is it Ant-Man? Ant-Man's after that, I think. We might get some footage from other stuff. I'm really looking forward to what Star Wars might have in store for us, because I think we're gonna get some news on Bad Batch Season 2. And other things that are coming shortly, because I know they've shot stuff, but there's not like release dates for stuff. Andor we get on the 21st, and that's I think there's 9 episodes per season. I think they said it Is it 18? I don't remember how many episodes Andor's getting. Well, we might get some final footage, a final trailer for Andor. Mando season 3. What else is there? Ahsoka, the Acolyte. I think a lot of people are excited about that because they haven't really talked about the Acolyte. Yeah. So I hope we get some really good Star Wars news. That's what I'm looking forward to. We have a lot of Marvel to get through, and they'll probably announce Fantastic Four casting, maybe some mutants. That's a big rumor. People are expecting one of the movies in Phase 6 that they haven't announced yet. They have release dates, but they haven't announced yet. Might be. The rumor is that the first X-Men movie will be just called The Mutants. And, yeah. So we might get some news on that, too. But we'll see. I don't like to theorize too much anymore, just because it always messed with my expectations. But usually when you hear big rumors happening, like right before big events, they sometimes turn out to be true. So I'm just listening to like wide talk. If I see like one article like, oh, I don't know, Daniel Radcliffe is going to be the new Iron Man, like, I don't care about that. Honestly, I don't care to see more Tony Stark anytime soon. Not because I don't like the character, but because it was just so well done, and there's literally hundreds of other characters to, like, showcase now for Marvel. We're seeing it. There's a lot of them. So yeah, that is going to be the rest of the week. We have, Friday we'll also probably be talking about, I'm actually hoping Thursday we can talk about Lord of the Rings. Maybe Friday's better, but, Amazon says it's Friday that they release it. The first 2 episodes came out at like 6 p.m. on Thursday last week. And I've noticed when I've watched The Boys on Amazon, it also comes out on like Friday, but I'm able to watch it at sometimes like 8 or 9 p.m., 7 p.m. on Thursday. So I don't know. Amazon seems a little bit weird with their release schedule. Like they'll say one thing and then it's like 5 hours earlier they drop it. Which I'm not complaining, but yeah, if they do that on Thursday, like if they drop it Thursday afternoon, like they did the last one, well, if I can, yeah, it's probably gonna be Friday, but I'm looking forward to more of the Lord of the Rings stuff. So, anywho, what do we have first today? So I don't have an open segment for this, because I'm trying something new today. When it's a slow news day, I still want to talk about stuff. And the first thing I want to talk about is this story. Now, I think this is a little old, but I still thought it was fascinating because goats. This guy, I'm going to read this article here. Excuse me. This is a quick article from the Independent, and it's titled "Thomas Thwaites, the man who lived as a goat, explains why and says it was a special kind of time." A man has been describing how he was so stressed with his daily life that he decided to live as a goat. Known as Goat Man, Thomas Thwaites has written about his unusual lifestyle choice in a book called Goat Man: How I Took a Holiday from Being a Human. Speaking to BBC Radio's 4 Today program, the 34-year-old said he made the decision after dog-sitting his niece's happy, joyous dog, when he thought, would it be nice to have a break from all this stress? He said he remembered thinking as a child that if he were a cat, he wouldn't have to go to school. But rather than just letting my childish wishes go, I wrote to the Wellcome Trust and they gave me a small arts award, which, called by bluff, I suppose, he says. It became an investigation into how close we can come to fulfilling this ancient human dream. I did a bit of research, and you can easily find all the cave paintings depicting half human, half beast. And after receiving the funding, Mr. Thwaites went through a number of prototypes, including wooden structures, but ended up using prosthetic limbs and walking in a field with goats. I went to a goat farm in the Alps, and I had some prosthetics made by a doctor at the University of Salford prosthetics clinic, including prosthetic hooves and prosthetic back legs, he says. He said he even attempted to give his stomach similar digestive qualities to those of goats by eating grass. Mr. Thwaites added that he would recommend being a goat, describing it as a special kind of time. He lasted 3 days on the goat farm before he left and crossed the Alps, but now is happily back to his normal human life. It was not the first time Mr. Thwaites has embarked on an extraordinary experience. In 2009, after being inspired by Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where Arthur Dent crash lands onto a primitive planet and is unable to build a toaster or replicating his modern world, he set out to do just that. Mr. Thwaites said the project took 9 months and £100,000 to complete. So that is one of my favorite stories I've read in a while. This is definitely from 2016, but it doesn't diminish the fact that we should all be trying to live as goats. I, for one, can tell you, if I had goat legs, I would probably be world famous tap dancer. I would definitely try to make my career as a backup dancer in music videos. I would just really lean into the goat legs, you know? Bottom half goat, top half human. What is that? Goatar? Is that what we're calling those now? Goatars. All right. Well, clearly this is working. This segment working really well. I do like this idea of weird news stuff going on, but there is something a little newer that I have after the Thomas Thwaites story. And this ties into our main segment. Wow, talking is a thing. This will lead into our main segment, which is season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows is mostly out tonight. Actually, you know what? That's probably what we'll talk about tomorrow. It's weird that I'm doing this now because tonight is the finale, a season finale. But I just don't talk about What We Do in the Shadows much, but I do watch it. I'll explain why a little later. But this next story, this was from like 2 days ago. No, it's from yesterday. This is a vampire. Medieval vampire unearthed with sickle across her throat to stop her from rising from the dead. Read this quick article for you. The extraordinary remains of a supposed vampire have been uncovered at an archaeological site in Poland. Experts found the female body with a sickle across its throat, pinning it to the ground. The sickle was not laid flat, but placed over the neck, on the neck, in such a way that that if the deceased had tried to get up, most likely the head would have been cut off or injured. Explains a professor from Nicholas Copernicus University. The body was found during an archaeological work at the 17th century cemetery in the village of Pien in the southeastern Poland. According to the university team, she had a silk cap on her head indicating high social status and a protruding tooth. Strangely, one of the toes was also secured with a padlock. That's very strange. There's a bunch of pictures. This picture that I have up on screen is actually the picture, is one of these pictures. Professor Polinsky explained to the Daily Mail that padlocking the big toe on the skeleton's left foot likely symbolized the closing of a stage and the impossibility of returning. He added, ways to protect against the return of the dead included cutting off the head or legs, placing the deceased face down to bite into the ground, burying them and smashing them with a stone. Burning them and smashing them with a stone. Vampires and zombies are such a part of medieval popular culture as they are today. As far back as the 11th century, many believed corpses would claw their way back up through the ground and emerge as blood-sucking monsters. This was partly due to the amount of infectious diseases like cholera around the time. People in the post-medieval period did not understand how diseases was spread, and rather than a scientific explanation for these epidemics, cholera, and the deaths that resulted from it, were explained by the supernatural. In this case, vampires, said Dr. Leslie Gregorka from the University of South Alabama. In 2014, archaeologists in the village of Drusko, 130 miles away, found 6 skeletons buried in similar manner at a 400-year-old cemetery. Sickles were found pressed against their throats of an adult man who was between 35 to 44 years old and an adult woman around 35 to 39 years old. That's crazy. I think this is how I want to be buried. Put a sickle over my throat. Make sure I don't rise from the dead. I think this would be pretty... Look, if I didn't want to be put in one of those like tree pod things where like my corpse becomes a tree, which is the number one choice for me when I go, this is maybe number 2. You just never know, you know. I think you could accidentally get bit by a vampire right before you die, and who's gonna stop you from coming back and sucking all the blood, just all of it? Just give me the blood. I will take it from you unless you put a sickle around my corpse. Don't bring me back, because if you do, I'm gonna haunt your dreams. I'm just gonna do it. So, I mean, like, Poland seems like a cool place. You know, I've been revisiting the Witcher stuff. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but the Witcher book series is, like, based in a lot of Polish folklore. And then I think it gets weirdly into, like, I don't know, Arthurian stuff at a certain point. I don't remember, but I remembered hearing that. But yeah, Poland seems like it's got some crazy history, right? But I mean, we had witches here too. What was it? When I was in Washington D.C., one of the things that I was thinking about saying to people, they came up to me and said, "Oh, you must be from California," and then start talking shit about California, which is fine. You can talk shit about wherever, because every place is worthy of talking shit. It's just how personal you take it, you know. But I take talking shit about California because, you know what? The only person that can talk shit about California, well, persons, are people that live in California. But yeah, I was thinking about, you know, I was in DC. I was actually in Virginia. And you know what? All of the original colonies had witch trials. It wasn't just the Salem witch trials, which is Massachusetts. Wasn't just there. It was all over the place. You know what? I think there was even some, like, throughout the United States at various points. I think they burned a witch down the street from me like a couple weeks ago. She just wouldn't keep the noise down. Um, but yeah, witches. Yeah, crazy stuff. Our history is weird, you know? Like, this is stuff that we believe. Stuff that, like, in 100, 200, 300 years, they're going to laugh at us for being like, they thought they were getting, like, news from, like, people on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. There's some great news people on YouTube. But yeah, what a weird find. I think it's cool when you hear about stories like this about, like, well, we found, oh, what was it? One of the like kings of England was found in a, was it I forget which one. Forgive me. But they found his, like, corpse in a parking lot, like a grocery store parking lot. I love stories like this. It's so weird. Just you know, things that happen throughout history. Was it Richard the Third or something? And yeah, I want to look that up real quick. Yeah, it was Richard the Third found in a parking lot. So crazy, you know, like somebody that's referenced in history. Like I have heard of Richard the Third, and I'm from California. You know, it's not part of my country's history, but you know, somebody that I'd heard throughout the various histories, and then they find his body in a like a parking garage. You know, that's crazy. Yeah, sorry, I'm still looking up this Richard the Third story. This is old. This is from, well, not as old as my goat story. This is from 2017. The goat story is older than this. Should have talked about this instead. No, this is just it's super freaking awesome, like fascinating where history happened, or where we think history happened, and then we, you know, find out clues later on. But anyways, let me know if you got any other weird history or things you want me to discuss, because I like this. I think this is a fun new segment, weird news. Clearly it doesn't have to be, you know, breaking news. So yeah, anyways, let's do a commercial break, and I'll come back here and talk about What We Do in the Shadows season 4. Yeah, so I will see you guys here in just a minute.
You still got pets? They still trying to get married? We got hamsters or something? Well, whatever you got, consider having a big day at Richard's Pet Wedding Facilities. We've got chairs and grass. Look at this log.
And this nervous guy.
We remodeled recently, so it's like a brand new magical paradise next to the same dumpster that you're used to off exit 7. Richard's Pet Wedding Facilities. Only the best for your pets.
All right, that was a commercial break. We did it. Huzzah! Buy my merch. Buy my merch. All right. Well, here we are. We're at the final segment of the day, and I guess I'm gonna run this. This is a virtual crate segment. Oh wait, no, that was the wrong one. Virtual crate's my music segment. I'm already messing this up. Dino news. This is a Dino news segment. We're gonna ready. Let's do that again. right. Dino News. Remember when I used to put on a paper mache mask and talk about news stuff? Because I do. I still have that mask. It's next to my 2 other dinosaur masks in my garage. Or closet, sorry. Not garage. They're here. I have them here. All right. Well, what is it I'm going to talk about? I don't know. You tell me. Wait, no, I have an idea. It's going to be what we do in the shadows. Oh, come on. There we go. So, I've talked a little bit about this show in the past. There's really a lot to kind of preface this with. Taika Waititi, super popular director, did the last 2 Thor movies, Jojo Rabbit, bunch of other stuff. He co-wrote and directed What We Do in the Shadows, originally a short, about a 45-minute short, which you can find on YouTube, which is really funny, and then it came out as a full-length. They retooled it, reshot a feature-length film of What We Do in the Shadows, and it's basically what 3 vampires. It's about 3 vampires living together in this house in New Zealand, which is what the movie is. And you know, it's a mockumentary. It's great. And the movie was very well received. There's talks about other spin-offs, and what we ended up getting, I don't know if there's still other ones there was werewolves, and I think they were gonna do a werewolf series. I don't know if that's still happening. Probably not, just because of Our Flag Means Death, and the lead werewolf was Rhys Darby, who's really funny. He was the manager of the Flight of the Conchords on that show. And yeah, he is Stede Bonnet, the main character on Our Flag Means Death. So anyways, there was all these spin-offs that were supposed to happen. I'm not sure if Wellington Paranormal is technically a spin-off. That's a show I have on my... There's like a couple of shows that I need to watch. I need to catch up on Atlanta, and I need to watch Reservation Dogs and Wellington Paranormal. Those 3 are on my like watch list, but I haven't watched them. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just kind of living at my own pace, you know. Anyways, so then the show What We Do in the Shadows came out, and it's a completely different cast in a completely different setting. It's the same premise, but instead of Wellington, New Zealand, it's Staten Island, New York. And yeah, there's a whole new group of vampires. There's Nandor, the Relentless, Nadia and Laszlo. Nadia and Laszlo are married. They've been married for centuries, and you know, honestly, they leaned into the like weird marriage that they had like the first season or 2 a little bit, and they kind of backed off with that. I'd like to see them get more back into like them just being a weirdo, like vampire sex obsessed couple. I mean, they still, you know, mention that they're married every once in a while. But let's see, we have already gotten 3 seasons. Tonight is the season finale of season 4. And let's see, I think it was after season 2, the main 2 creators, Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement stepped away a bit. Like, I think Taika Waititi wasn't as involved. I think he like helped co-write some of it. I think Jermaine Clement was mostly the showrunner on that. And they both seem to have stepped away. I think Taika stepped away a little earlier, and Jermaine had been on for a little bit. And from what I understand, there's completely new writers now. And I think we'll get into the specifics of season 4 here pretty soon. But season 1 I thought was great. It was the third time I'd seen the same joke redone, but it was each time it was retold a different way, and it was still funny. The short film and the movie are like pretty much the same. It's the same vampires. There's just slight tweaks, and then they reuse some of those jokes from both the short and the movie for season 1, and I think a little season 2, but also with new twists that still make it fresh and funny. So I did really like the first season. I'm forgetting what season 2 looked like. Let me look at the episode list real quick. There's the resurrection goes. Oh yeah. This one was interesting as well. I can't remember a specific episode that I like. Was the On the Run episode? Is this the one with? Yeah, okay. The best episode in season 2 is probably this On the Run episode. And it's Mark Hamill is in it. Luke Skywalker plays a vampire who's looking for. If you caught a few episodes or a few weeks back, I did Man Crush Monday, I think it was something, and I did a whole episode about Matt Berry. Matt Berry is Laszlo. He's one of the 3 main vampires on the show. I didn't even get into the rest of the cast. I just mentioned the three main vampires so far, but there's some great additions that weren't part of the other iterations of What We Do in the Shadows. Matt Berry is one of my favorite actors of all time at this point. Not just actor, entertainer. He's hilarious. I love all of his comedy. He's a really talented musician. And go back and watch that episode, and you can see me just gushing over this dude. And I give some album recommendations. I believe Blue Elephant is his most recent one, and that one's really good. Yeah, so the On the Run episode's really good, and he's running from Mark Hamill's character, and he ends up in like a small town and takes over a new identity. It's really good. It's really good. Who's that? She looks familiar. Oh, right. Anyways, so on top of the 3 main, Nandor the Relentless, or Laszlo, or Nausea, there's one other vampire that lives in the house. His name is Colin Robinson, and he was a great new addition to the show because there wasn't even like this idea in the short or feature length, but he's an energy vampire, and he just bores people to death. It's pure gold. And I don't know, Proksch, I think is his last name, Mark Proksch, the guy who plays Colin Robinson. I had seen him in some things before, and I couldn't quite remember what they were, but I think he was in The Office. Yeah, it was Better Call Saul. He was also on Better Call Saul. He was in a bunch of stuff. Really funny dude, though. And it's just the idea of an energy vampire was so funny to me. It still is. I mean, where the character has gone is kind of weird because they're trying to keep the show fresh and trying various story arcs. In season 3, they did a story arc with Naja, who I love her. She is in a show that her brother wrote called Stathlets Flats. Her real life brother, they play siblings in the show too. It's kind of autobiographical. Not really though. It's this Greek family that lives in England, in like, maybe outside of London or something. I'm not quite sure where they live actually, but the dad is a real estate agent, and the son and daughter work there, and that's Naja and her brother in real life. Anyways, that's a really funny show too. The story arc that they did with her last season that got kind of weird was she had a doll. What was it? A doll that looks like her that became a central part of the storyline. And I don't know, it was weird. It didn't really work for me, but they have since brought the doll in for like little tiny bits, and that's a little, I don't know, when she was a main part of the story arc, it wasn't working as well for me. The show's still funny though. Season 3 I think is kind of the dip in quality, not by much. It just isn't as funny as some of the other seasons. You can feel the switch in the writer's room, I think, too. But this season 4 has kind of come back to, I wouldn't say it's back to how it originally was. It's just like it's the writing's a little better. This season they did something weird with Colin Robinson's character. He dies at the end of season 3. He's just like, I think he's like laying in his bed and his like skull collapses randomly. And so what they did was they like bring him back, but he like regenerates, and this whole season he's a child. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. I had to blow my nose. And anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, so Colin Robinson dies in season 3, and this season they've brought him back as a child. And what they did, in regards to like weird storylines, I liked what they've done with Colin's story arc better than what they did with the Nausea doll last season. But it was kind of difficult because they used a child in the scenes, and then they like rotoscoped Colin Robinson's face on to the child, and there are a lot of times where it does not look good. I think it's played for goofs, which is fine. But seeing what is it, 9 episodes per season? What's season 9 gonna have, or season 4 gonna have? Yeah, 10 episodes. Okay, 10 episodes. Yeah, and after seeing like Colin Robinson over, I'm not gonna say 10 weeks because I'll explain in a second. After this whole season arc, it was getting jarring to see, even though it was funny and I liked how they utilized the characters this season. Like Laszlo, essentially Matt Berry, takes care of little Colin. He becomes like the pseudo dad this season, And I think that worked pretty well because they were starting to have like this interesting relationship at times where they were hanging out a little bit. Older Colin Robinson before his head collapsed. But yeah, I thought I liked Laszlo raising Colin Robinson, and what was it? Nadia opens a nightclub, and she's testing out like talent, like musical acts and stuff like that for her bar. And in one of the early episodes, like 2 or 3, something like that, and Colin Robinson ends up becoming the like little kid performer. He's like a little he looks like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and he like wears a little tux and he likes to do song and dance stuff on stage at this club. It's great. It's really great actually. Yeah, Naja opens a club. What else happens this season? There's some good stuff actually. Nandor, he sometimes can just. He's a good like. I hesitate to say he's the lead. It's an ensemble cast, but they do pinpoint him in like posters and some of the media promotional stuff a lot of the times, and they started giving him a little bit more to do, which is good. He gets married this season. I'm not gonna tell you how it ends, but it does happen in episode 9, which was the last episode that came out last week. Episode 9. I will say about that episode, they brought in an actor. I can't remember what his name is actually. Sorry, I'm gonna look it up. He was also in Stathlets Flats, and his character on that show is like in love with what is her name on the show? Sophie. Nadia's name on Stathlets Flats is Sophie, and he is in love with her in Stath, and they brought him in for a dual role, and I don't want to tell you why, but it's funny. It's pretty funny actually. Yeah, what is his name? Sorry, I need to look it up. It is Al Roberts. Is that him? Yeah, Al Roberts. He plays a really good like nerdy guy. In both Stath and in What We Do in the Shadows. So, let's see, what else did I have for season 4? Oh yeah. So Guillermo, who's a big character in this show, he is he's filled a number of roles in the show. He's Nandor's familiar, so he waited on Nandor hand and foot for like 10 years in hopes that he would become a vampire himself later, which that's a whole just watch the show to get a sense of what that's all about. But the actor Harvey Guillen is LGBT in real life, and I think it doesn't matter to me if part of his personal life comes out into the character, or if this was how Guillermo was written initially. It really doesn't matter to me. They make him gay and he comes out, and this season is his come out season, and he's kind of done it a couple of times. But there's a really good episode where he has his family, all the vampires are out on a camping trip except for Nadia. She's having like a girls' night in type thing, and Guillermo thinks they're all gone, and so he invites his family over for dinner, and it becomes the whole like, this is my girlfriend, just kidding, I'm gay. That I said that way more unenthusiastic that I meant it. It's really funny. It's it's kind of the Birdcage, and it's a vampire version of the Birdcage for 20 minutes. Yeah, they definitely play it well for a vampire show. And let's see, what else is there? What else is there about this season? Not much. Each episode is, it's a one-off thing. There's a slight story arc that goes on through the whole thing, but for the most part, What We Do in the Shadows, to me, is a show where you could probably just throw it on anywhere and enjoy it. But yeah, there's, one thing I'll say that I think I don't. One downside for me. This isn't just a kind of a dumb complaint, but I think it's still relevant. I'm a fan of Kristen Schaal, who's on The Daily Show, and she does the voice of Louise Belcher on Bob's Burgers. Oh, she's been in a ton of stuff at this point. You see her all the time. She was in Flight of the Conchords. She was the obsessive fan in Flight of the Conchords. Anyways, she plays a role in this show, and I don't dislike her or the character so much independently, but I do have a little bit of that feeling of like, when I'm watching the show, and then Kristen Schaal's on TV or, on screen, and I feel like I'm watching a show and then Kristen Schaal appeared in the episode, She's funny, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she does a bad job. It's just one of those things where it feels a little out of place. I've seen her in so many things now that it sucks to say, because you want to get to a point in your career, if you're an actor, where you be in a lot of things. However, I do feel like she's not totally miscast either. It's just one of those things, like, if you were to watch a Star Wars movie and, let's say, I don't know, who's a mega star, like The Rock, or like George Clooney. George Clooney is a weird one, but he's still like massively known. If I saw one of those actors in a Star Wars, it instantly pulls me out, because I'm like, okay, I was watching Star Wars, now I'm watching Star Wars featuring The Rock or George Clooney or Brad Pitt, whatever. And I think there's sometimes where you need to like find somebody a little different. And again, I'm not saying Kristen Schaal is totally miscast. She just like doesn't work for me in this role particularly. She was part of like the Vampiric Council, and now she just like hangs out with them. Don't dislike the role. I don't know. I'm having a hard time putting my finger on it. I just think sometimes she doesn't work for me. But season 4 is ending tonight. I don't know if they're renewed for season 5. They probably are. But I'm getting the overheat signal. And I guess it happens maybe once a week at this point. Really need to get that other camera here. So I'll hurry up and finish this, because don't want to. If the overheat, if the camera goes off, then no more video. You'll have audio, but yeah, I'll just hurry this up and say I like season 4 better than season 3. Probably on par with season 2, possibly. But I don't know. Have you guys watched What We Do in the Shadows at all? What are you thinking about it? Have you had enough vampire in your life? Because we had a bunch of vampire stories today. Half hour talking about What We Do in the Shadows, and then the weird news of a vampire being uncovered at a dig site in Poland. That's awesome. Jason says, haven't gotten to the TV show. Wife and I started back over on Stranger Things. Stranger Things is I think it gets better. I don't know where you're at. I like season 1, season 2 was and then I didn't even watch 3 or 4, but then picked them up again recently, and finished seasons 2 and 3. I think are the worst, and then it gets really good. I really liked the last like 2 seasons or whatever they did there. They like split it in half or something. She saw me watching season 4 and decided she wanted to start it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think you're in a good place. That's, to me, where it gets good again. Season 4. But yeah, so I'm still getting the overheat thing. Need to get that other camera. Well, if you get a chance to watch What We Do in the Shadows, it's fun. I mean, they're 20-minute episodes, 22-minute episodes with commercials or whatever. So, I was starting 4 and started over. Oh, yeah. Well, if you're not too deep into it, I mean, it can suck though if you're like 3 episodes deep in season 4 and then rewatching those, because all of them are like over an hour long. But you know, I do like season 4 of this one, of What We Do in the Shadows. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me today. I will be back tomorrow. I definitely know I'll be talking about some music stuff tomorrow, because King Gizzard has a new single coming out, and they're going to be announcing 3 records, like pre-orders for 3 records, because I'll do a whole conversation on King Gizzard tomorrow. They're one of my favorite bands, so I'll talk to you about why it's not surprising, but also like awesome that we get 3 or 4 records from them. Sorry I missed a lot of the show. I was stuck at the grocery store. Hey, no worries. Also Monday and Tuesdays are 5 p.m. shows, and tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday will be 6 p.m. shows, so maybe it'll work for you a little better tomorrow. And also on Saturday, I'm not totally decided yet, but there's the D23 going on, and the Marvel Star Wars stuff is on from like 10 p.m. to noon, so I'll probably do a 1 p.m. stream on Saturday for a little bit if you're all around, but I think it'll be important for me to get on that stuff. But anyways, check out wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support the channel. Buy a t-shirt, buy a sweatshirt, tote bags, whatever floats your boat. I got some cool art there, so check that out. And don't forget to check out the link in the description. There is a donation link to Planned Parenthood, for all the important reasons. If you are curious about men's and women's reproductive health, you should check them out. But there goes my camera. Oh, it's still on. Weird. Anyways, the camera is shutting down, I think. Yeah, so tomorrow I will be back on at 6 p.m. and I'll see you guys then. Later.